Hey friends, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but welcome to episode 100 of the Living in His Purpose podcast. I just want to pause for a second and say thank you. Whether you've been here from the start or just stumbled across this show today, I am really glad you're here. This whole thing started out as a quiet nudge, a what if, a whisper that maybe I should open the mic and share the truth that God has been working out in my own life, just in case it helps someone else. So now here we are, 100 episodes later. This episode isn't going to be polished or perfect. They never are, but it's going to be honest. I think that's fitting because these past 2 years have been some of the most honest of my life. I have asked hard questions. I've faced parts of myself I didn't want to look at. I've been in a season of seeking, digging through the garden of my life with dirt on my hands, trying to figure out what was a weed and what is a root. What's worth keeping? I've wrestled with questions like, am I doing enough? Is this what God has really called me to do? Why does this feel so heavy sometimes if this is what I'm called to do? And maybe you've had questions like that too. Maybe you've been carrying around dreams that feel too big or expectations that feel too loud. And somewhere along the way, you forgot that the goal isn't to have it all figured out. The goal is to be rooted in truth, rooted in grace, rooted in a God who knows exactly who you are, even when you're still trying to remember. I don't know what brought you to this episode today, but maybe you've been trying to bloom like a flower without ever tending to your roots. Maybe you've been pushing yourself to be brave, but you don't even feel safe yet. Maybe you've been trying to grow something beautiful on top of dirt that's cracked and dry. If that's you, I see you. I am you. And today, I just want to invite you into something deeper because living bravely does not start with a leap. It starts with a knowing. When I first launched this podcast, there wasn't some big content strategy. No niche, no plan, no polished mission. I just had a heart full of thoughts and the desire to help. So I turned on the mic and I started sharing about mindset, emotions, scripture, stress, coaching tools, health, home, life, all of it. It was wide and honestly, it's a bit messy, but it reflected where I was, full of ideas, full of passion, still figuring it all out. And I don't regret one moment of it all because over time, through conversations with clients, through prayer, through sitting with God in the quiet, I began to see the pattern. I started to see what really matters. I'm not just creating content anymore. I'm creating with intention. And that word, intentionality, is shaping everything that I do now. It has become my new life word, intentional. Be intentional. Over these 100 episodes, I've learned that the work I'm most called to do is this, to help women let go of what's holding them back. Whether it's a toxic thought, a heavy emotion, a generational mindset, or a spiritual stronghold, to help them move out of survival mode and into a life of peace, clarity, and purpose. That includes caring for our bodies, our souls, our spirits, whether it's dealing with fatigue, hormones, brain fog, emotions that loop endlessly, or parts of us that need truth more than noise. That's what I'm here for. I believe with all of my heart, there is a way forward. There are tools. There is truth. There is hope. And not just because of science or coaching or strategy, although I do love all of those, but because God is still in the business of renewal, of redeeming. And it all starts with identity. You cannot step into the life that God has prepared for you if you're still stuck under the weight of who the world says you have to be. You've got to start at the root, because if you don't know who you are, how can you know what you're called to do? Now, before I move on, I want to share a little peek behind the scenes, some things that I haven't talked about, but that have shaped me deeply. Since we are talking about me and my 100 episode, right? I'm going to talk about me a little bit more. And I think it's always fun when you do hear personal things of the people who are talking to you over the airwaves. It kind of lets you know that they aren't perfect. I am so not perfect. So many things going on. But there are a lot of things that I don't share that I wish I could, but I really don't want to make this all about me. Except for today. Today, 100 episode is all about me. Okay, let me get back on point. Okay, back on point. Way back in episode 1, I shared something really raw that I hadn't spoke to my family of origin in nearly 20 years. And that was a lot. That was a big leap of faith for me to even mention that to the public on the air, forever recorded, ever on the internet, forever. A lot of emotions in there. But what I could not have imagined then, but I can say now, is that God has been gently, beautifully restoring that part of my life. Over the last year and a half, I've reconnected with my mom, my sister, my daughter, my grandkids, and let me tell you, getting to know my grandchildren, being present in their lives, teaching them about God, it's one of the greatest gifts I've ever received. Now, of course, like many of you, and like I've mentioned before, I ain't perfect. There are other areas of my life that I'm still grieving. I'm still healing, still walking through a lot of pain. It is not all tied up in a bow, but God has been faithful. Some other things that you might want to know: I still work part-time as a NICU nurse. I still live in my little town where my church is 3 blocks away. I still talk to my dog like she cares. She doesn't really. Honestly, she just runs the house and we just do what she wants to do. But she is such a good, loyal friend. Everyone needs a dog. Everyone. Coaching is now the heart of what I do. I still take the occasional professional organizing client, but this, helping women manage their minds and live intentionally, is where I feel most called. And just for fun, here are a few things you might not know. I once tried to become a camper. I bought all the gear, hundreds of dollars worth of gear, and I went one time. But I documented the whole thing, videos, pictures, all of it, and I haven't been back. It turns out there's really a certain type of person who enjoys camping. Of course, this was camping with a tent, and it was by myself. Well, I had Charlotte, but it was by myself. So it was a lot. It was a lot, and it was hot, and I don't like bugs. And cooking on a camp stove was kind of fun. Like one time, I don't know that I'd want to do it every day for a week or so. So I don't know if I'll be back or not. I don't know. If you've got some tips there to make it better, let me know. Next, I believe that a cozy blanket, a notebook, and a good pen, and a strong cup of coffee or tea, some days I drink tea, that can fix at least 63% of life's problems. Almost all of it. I love learning things that make my brain light up. And you probably already know that, or if you've been listening, you know that already. I love neuroscience, everything about our bodies, how God created them. I love theology. Everything about God that I can get a hold of is just what I crave. And even things like how to organize your pantry by color. Yes, I'm still that person. I'm letting some things go though, so it's not quite as bad as it used to be. I dream of traveling, new places, new people, new experiences. I'm always up for something that gets me out of my comfort zone. I didn't used to be that way. Something about turning 50 and hitting that half a century mark, which that's really hard to say, half a century mark. It's just made me realize that time is short, and all the things that I've ever thought about doing, I need to get started now, right? Okay, and there's one more thing, kind of surprise, that I'm going to share at the end. We'll save it for the end. Now, somewhere between quiet moments with Charlotte and those moments of deep client conversations, I started noticing a pattern, not just in others, but in myself. When we're stuck, it almost always comes back to identity. And that's what has inspired me to create something new. And I'm so excited about it. Something that reflects everything that I've been walking through and everything I've walked with others through. It's called the Identity Reset. Begin with the roots. This isn't a course or a quick fix. This is a personal coaching experience that's grounded in biblical truth and practical tools. It's for the woman who's tired of circling that same mountain, the one who knows God has more for her, but isn't sure how to step into it, the one who's ready to stop spinning their wheels and start growing, but not with big leaps, but with roots. And here's what we're going to do together. We will slow down and untangle what's really going on in your head. What's a fact, what's a feeling, what's fear just trying to take over. We'll call out old patterns, old thought patterns that sound true but never bring peace, and replace them with the truth that will bring peace. We'll build daily habits for you that help you stay grounded in what God is actually saying about you. And we'll make space, real space, for clear thinking, quiet confidence, steady obedience. So this is for you if you've been feeling stuck, scattered, unsure, but deep down, you know that God's calling you to more. The Identity Reset officially begins mid-January, but spots are open now. You can grab the link in the show notes or reach out with any questions before you commit. I would love to walk with you. And just like I'm inviting you to take a brave step, I want you to know I'm taking one too. So remember that surprise that I mentioned earlier? Here it is. Dun, da, da, da. After years, I'd say about 2 years of feeling God nudge me to step into something bigger, I'm saying yes to public speaking. Face to face, real women, real rooms, not just behind the mic. It's both terrifying and it's beautiful. It started back in July. That's when I made my first intentional commitment. I went to a speaking conference just to learn what in the world does being a speaker even look like. And while I was there, I met beautiful women who are in the same boat I am, who want to share what God has been doing in their lives with other women to encourage so that we can strengthen each other. And at this conference, I met my new friend, Trish Cole, who saw something in my awkward presentation. And she said, hey, we need to do something together. I've got an idea. So she had a vision for a retreat cruise. Yes, a real cruise where women can go to reset, rest, hear from speakers who are deeply rooted in faith. And she invited me to be one of those speakers. So I said yes. Kind of scary, didn't really know what I was saying like to the depths. I mean, you have an idea, but you don't really know until you see it in print. And when I saw it in print, I am now even more excited about this and I want to share this. So here it is. Here's the details. In January 2027, I will be speaking on a Christian women's retreat cruise. It's called the Sea Glass Retreat Cruise, and you'll find a link in the show notes with more information if you're curious or you just want to come along. This still feels really surreal. This is like the ultimate Christmas present. But I know that God is moving and I cannot wait to see what else he has in store, because here's the truth. You do not have to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need to know your next step and take it. And sometimes that next step is just trust. You just trust. You do what you feel that God is leading you to do. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what the identity reset that I'm offering, the package I'm offering, is all about. Okay, so let's wrap this showboat up, shall we? If there is something that God has placed in your heart, I'm encouraging you today. Just start. You don't have to be fully ready, just willing. When you move in faith, God meets you with what you need, the right people, the right tools, the right timing. Starting this podcast was a huge leap for me. And now 100 episodes later, I can honestly say it is one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And as I head into this next season, I want to do it with intentionality and I want to help you do the same thing. So if this episode has meant something to you, please share it with a friend. Sign up on the email list. Hit follow, leave a review, just message me, say hi, let me know you're there. What are you dealing with? What do you want to hear? What are you talking about? What did you get out of this? This community matters to me. You matter to me. So here's to the next 100 episodes, one brave step at a time, yours and mine. Have a great week, friend. I love you.